2005's Serenity may not have been able to tell every story that 7 seasons of Firefly might have, but it did give us the opportunity to see the arc of the main character completed. Let's talk about Malcolm Reynolds' journey. Firefly and Serenity together present 4 distinct phases in Mal's character arc. We first meet Mal as an idealistic and God-fearing sergeant fighting in the Unification War. The ideological conflict of this war is simple. The Alliance has decided that all planets in the verse must join the Alliance to be governed centrally. Mal and the Browncoats believe that individual planets should be allowed to govern themselves. This Mal is a believer. Not only does he believe that his cause is just, but he also earnestly believes that it's a worthwhile fight, that the Browncoats can, and ultimately will, win. He truly believes that God is on his side. This Mal believes in an ideal that is bigger than himself, and he's willing to die for this belief. Alas, moments after being introduced to Sergeant Reynolds, we witness his belief system crumble as the Alliance triumphs at the Battle of Serenity Valley, ending the war. Not only does Mal lose his religious faith at this point, as God, should he exist, is clearly not on his side, he loses his belief that the Alliance is worth fighting. He accepts his defeat. The Alliance has won. When we rejoin Mal, 6 years later, we're faced with a very different man to the one we met in Serenity Valley. Sergeant Reynolds, who once commanded 2,000 soldiers in a crusade for freedom, has become Captain Reynolds, now leading a small crew of smugglers on board a clunky yet beloved spaceship. Unlike the version we saw in Serenity Valley, the Mal that we follow throughout the series has no belief in a higher cause or purpose bigger than himself and his own life. He's no longer concerned about the Alliance, beyond how they might get in the way of his next job. The war is over, and he's moved on. However, that's not to say he has no guiding philosophy. Mal might have left his belief in some bigger purpose in Serenity Valley, but his core values remain intact. The fundamental essence of the man remains. Captain Reynolds maintains an unwavering commitment and loyalty to his crew. Throughout the series, we see that Mal's first priority always is protecting his crew. Whether it's rescuing Simon and River from the hillfolk on Jiang Yin, keeping Wash from accepting death while being tortured, receiving Jane's betrayal of Simon and River as a personal affront, remaining on a lifeless Serenity while his crew flee in the lifeboats, Mal's instinct is always to place the well-being of his crew before his own needs. Mal may not feel a higher purpose beckoning him, but he doesn't need it anymore. So long as he still has his personal freedom and his found family around him, he's content. He doesn't need anything more to sustain him. Fast forward some months, and we return to Serenity in the movie, and outwardly Mal comes across as a very different man. This version of Mal feels far darker and more desperate than we're used to seeing him in the series. Indeed, one of the most common complaints of the movie is that Mal is nearly unrecognisable as the man we last saw in Objects in Space. This Mal has seemingly lost the philosophy that made him our hero in the series. Gone apparently is the desire, the need, to keep his family safe and together. When the movie begins, that family is already splintered, with both Inara and Book having left the ship. Within the first few scenes, we see visible tension exist between Mal and the crew, particularly Simon. Mal places River directly in harm's way by taking her on the Lilac bank heist job, and in the second half of the first act, Simon and River have determined to leave the relative safety of the ship as well. And make no mistake, this is a Mal issue. Kaylee opines as much, that Mal is driving his crew off the ship. So, is the man whose first priority was his found family truly gone? Well, here's the thing. No. The Mal we find in the movie is darker and more desperate. But that essential component of Mal's identity, the instinct to look after his crew, is still there, even though he may be actively trying to suppress it. I direct your attention to the end of Act 1, where Mal makes the decision to take River back to Serenity with him. And bear in mind that at this point, River and Simon have supposedly permanently disembarked of their own volition. If Mal was truly disinterested in protecting his family, he wouldn't have taken her back to his ship. She's not his problem anymore. Not only does Jane question the wisdom of this decision, but so does Mal himself.
I could have left her there. I had an out. Hell, I had every reason in the verse to leave her lay and haul anchor.
It's not your way, Mal.
So Mal in Serenity isn't a truly radically different character to Mal in Firefly. He's the same guy, he's just in a tougher situation. His work has been getting more difficult, he feels increasingly cornered. In Firefly, when Inara describes Mal as being lost in the woods, but liking it that way, he responds,
"The woods are the only place I can see a clear path."
in the movie, Mal is still lost in the woods, only now he can't see a clear path. Knowing only too well when a man is lost, Shepherd Book counsels Mal on the situation he finds himself in as he tries to protect River from the Alliance. Book describes the man that Mal will find himself pitted against. The Operative, Book counsels, is a man who believes hard, flagging up the danger inherent in that proposition and the necessity for Mal to have a similar level of conviction in order to triumph. Before his death, Book's last words are to implore once again Mal to believe in something. Not necessarily God, just something. River leads Mal to the forgotten planet Miranda, where Mal discovers an atrocity that the Alliance committed and have successfully kept secret for 12 years. The Alliance, in their determination to create a better human society, accidentally killed an entire planet's worth of people. Discovering this secret is the turning point for Mal. He now possesses the belief that not only is it morally intolerable for this event to have been kept secret, but that if he doesn't act to teach the Alliance a lesson, one day history will repeat itself. Mal's belief in something bigger than himself is restored, and Mal is once again willing to die fighting the Alliance. Malcolm Reynolds believes. To test the strength of Mal's belief, enter the Operative. This character represents in one man the Alliance and its supposed ideals. The climax of the movie pits the Operative's absolute belief in the greater good of the Alliance, that the Alliance's goal to create better human societies is a worthy one, against Mal's belief that the Alliance's goal comes at far too high a price, and that there is no such thing as a perfect human society, that ultimately imperfection is a fundamental component of humanity. These two ideologies clash, and ultimately, Mal's holds strong while the Operative's shatters against it. Serenity is the perfect conclusion to the central character arc of Firefly. Firefly is the story of how a man sustains himself and continues life after losing his belief. Serenity is the story come full circle, as that man finds renewed purpose, his belief restored.